Good morning from Dresden, Germany. This is my first full day in Dresden. I got here yesterday afternoon, probably around 5 o'clock, and I just kind of got acquainted, stocked the Airbnb with all the stinky cheese goodness that I will have for some breakfast this week. Today I am doing a walking tour, so I will be taking you guys along with me on that, and we will see what this beautiful place has to offer. It is stunningly, incredibly beautiful. So I hope you enjoy it. So let's get started with that, guys. Welcome to Dresden.
The question, is this all rebuilt? How does it look so authentic if it's rebuilt? So let's kind of sort that out. They took the old stones, yes? But was the entire thing rubble? Was it really on the ground, flat on the ground? No. Because what they used in Dresden, firing of Dresden, is incendiary bombing or fire bombing. And that left big stone walls standing. Everything within the stone wall burnt away. So from the inside it was 100% gone. But the stone walls often stood undamaged. But there is a difference. Now this was on the night of the bombing. As Dresden was burning, the church did not burn. And it actually, people who lived on Neumarkt could take shelter in the basement of the church. It burnt down on the 14th. It caught fire on the 14th, and by the 15th the fire was so strong that it basically melted away. And this is the church after it fell to the ground. That's how it looked from 1945. But they would have stood around watching it fall. You know, it must have been a shock, because when churches don't fall or don't bomb, you always say, okay, God's watching out for us. And your entire city burns down. And then you stand there and watch your church burn down. It's really like even God has abandoned us now. There's no hope for us. And all through the socialist years, this stood. There was a desire to remove it because everything else had been removed. So all the buildings you see around you are all made after 2009. This is 2007, and it goes all the way around 2009. It comes around to 2018. That's the building where the Jewish quarter used to be, the pink, grey building, the yellow building, and this one here behind the trees, 2019. This is all completely new. So everything was cleared away, and in the middle of it stood this. And they decided to leave it as a memory of the bombing of Dresden. So there was grass planted around it, rose bushes in the rubble, and they had services there regularly, basically saying, you can't remove this, this is our church.
They were grazing.
Yeah. So they started with reunification. In 1990, they formed an association for Neumarkt, and they wrote a letter to both the nations that have bombed Dresden, basically saying that we accept that we Germans began the war, but we have all suffered, and we ask you, do you want to help us rebuild the church as a sign that we are to the entire world that we are now reconciled? And that idea appealed to them, and they began to collect money. So in the US and the UK, there were benefit concerts, all kinds of lotteries, everything that went together, and West Germany helped, of course, and that they raised 182 million euros for the rebuilding of the church. By 1904, they had enough money to rebuild it, to start rebuilding it, and every stone in the rubble was picked up, checked to see if it was reusable. And if it was, it went back. They had these big kind of wooden storage racks here where every stone went back with a number and a location. And as they began to build the church, it's gone back at the very same position as it would have been in the original structure. So every black stone that is there is from the original church in the same spot it would have been in the original church. So this is a church that dedicates itself to forgiveness and to reconciliation. It was always the premise of the reconstructed church. It would stand for peace, it would call for peace, and it would symbolize reconciliation. And that's what it does. Even to this day, they're dedicated to that. And the square that we are standing on, the Neumarkt, is dedicated to new beginnings. So this is really, I think the best place to finish a tour after talking for hours about destruction and bombing. To talk about reconciliation and forgiveness is really the best place to stand.
That was a great walking tour. I remember in my younger days, I'd always like, kind of poo-poo taking the organized tours and things like that. But my advice now, take them. You learn so much more than you would otherwise, right? Just walking around and trying to absorb it on your own. One of the things that kind of really drove me to come to Dresden is the fact. I mean, everyone knows the story of the Allied firebombing of the city that just killed tens of thousands of people close to the end of World War II. And for the most part, it kind of sat that way as Dresden became part of the East and, sort of under the Soviet thumb. And it really wasn't until, I guess of the course of time in perspective recently that this has been rebuilt with such detail and with funds, from all over the world to make this kind of a symbol of reconciliation and reunification. So I think this city is definitely something that Germany can be proud of, as most of the reconstruction did take place after reunification. So if you guys have it going on, this is beautiful.